Hello, I'm going to tell you the terminology of the FGC, the fighting game community. Fighting game terms using Mortal Kombat. This is applicable to the other games as well, but it's highly focused on Mortal Kombat here. So it's probable that I will skip some terminology for other fighting games. So we'll start here. 50-50 is a mix-up where the opponent has to guess between 2 points. So either, for example, a low or an overhead. In this game, if Sub-Zero blocks high and I do a low, he blocks high, he gets hit, okay? But if I do a mid, he's fine. If I do a high, he's fine. If I do an overhead, he's fine. Okay. So if he holds block down, I do a high, he's fine. I do a mid, he's fine. I do a low, he's fine. But if I do an overhead, gets mixed up. So the 50-50 here is, will Scorpion do the overhead or will Scorpion start with a low? That's a 50-50 because both strings start with either a high or a low. Sub-Zero is well known for this. He's actually infamous in this game for being a 50-50 machine because he has combos that start with the low. You see how it says low? He starts with the low and he starts with the overhead. So that's a 50-50, this here and this. An air-to-air is when two opponents jump at the same time at each other and one of them hits the other first, right? So either he hits me or I hit him. That's an air-to-air. Not air-to-air, air-to-air. An aerial attack that is done against an opponent who's in the air. Here you go. An anti-air is an attack that counters a jumping opponent, right? So I can do down 2, standing 3. So he jumps and he gets punished for jumping. Having armor means that the character cannot be attacked. So armored hits mean that the character's attacks cannot be interrupted by another hit. For example, if Scorpion wakes up with up 3, this here has armor. So if I do, let's say I do anything. I do this, doesn't work. I do... nothing works. Backdash is a movement that allows you to quickly move backwards. Front dash is a movement that allows you to quickly go forward. A bait or baiting means you're forcing out a reaction from your opponent and countering that reaction. For example, in this game, a lot of the time to grab, what you're going to notice is that people go forward and grab. They take a little step forward and grab because they want to get a front grab, okay? So what you can do, you can bait a down 2. The counter to grabs, as everyone knows in Mortal Kombat, or one of the most popular counter, is just down 2 because you get a crushing blow, okay? It really hurts really bad. So what you can do, if you're trying to bait a down 2, you're trying to get Sub-Zero to actually down 2 you, that's what you want. You can bait him. So I see him step forward, he's gonna step forward, and I'm like, is he gonna grab me? I'm thinking he's gonna grab me, okay? So I'm like, oh, he's going for a grab, here we go, and then he down 2s me. He's baiting me because he knows that I think he's gonna grab me. So when he sees that, he counters me. So that's a bait right there. A B&B is also known as bread and butter, and what that means is a combo that is easy and efficient in terms of damage and low chance of dropping. So it's something that you can do, still has good damage, but you're not going for the optimal. It's a combo that you're comfortable with, that you go for. You know there's more to it, but you don't care because it's effective. For example, a B&B with Sub-Zero would be something similar like this one, right? Super easy. There are a variety of things that you can do that's much better than this, but it's easy. You get your damage. It's a combo that you're comfortable with. That's your B&B. Buffering means to preemptively enter a specific input of a move. So for example, you buffer in your reversals when you're trying to do a reversal with this game because you preemptively enter what you need to enter before you're out of block stun. Like this. No, I didn't do it properly. There you go. I buffered it. And that's why I get a reversal, because with reversals in this game, you have to buffer them. Doesn't necessarily mean reversals. You can buffer other things, like for example, I buffered it all. Right, I entered it all. Hold on. If you look at my inputs, I don't wait until all the things touch for me to enter my inputs. I just buffer it all. So I know it's going to come out when I want it to come out. So that's what buffering means. To preemptively enter a specific input of a move. To cancel means to exit out of a move by entering a certain input. There are different types of cancels in Mortal Kombat. For example, if we say Scorpion canceled his teleport, this is what it's going to look like. I canceled out of it at a cost of 1 defensive bar to do something else. Usually the normal is this, right? But I can cancel it. Now special cancels, what they mean is that you cancel out of a string essentially. That sounds complicated. What you do is you transition out of a different attack. Instead of doing 1-1-2 like this, people are going to see you special cancel out of 1-1-2. You special cancel off of that string. So you do 1-1 and you special cancel. Which means you transition from one move to the other. But by canceling, that's what they mean. They don't mean just stopping here. That's not a cancel. That's a stagger. That is a cancel. A special cancel. And a cancel is a special move itself. Like there are some characters like Jackie Briggs who can cancel her normal attacks, but it's still a special move which with the special animation. It's not just stopping your attacks. That's a stagger, okay, like I just said. Canceling means to exit out of a move by entering a certain input. A cross-up means an attack that is done from behind, which can alter the opponent's direction. In Mortal Kombat, cross-ups exist, but they're not very strong, because in this game we block with a button. We don't back up. When you have to back up in other games, cross-ups become extremely scary, because you're trying to back up, and now they're behind you, right? So if I would do this in a game with cross-ups, with real cross-up, where Sub-Zero had to block by backing up, this would be extremely dangerous because he would have to change his direction. But in this game, cross-up apply in combos on hit and can just be hard to anti-air. So, for example, I'm gonna get Sub-Zero to jump on me and cross me up. Alright, so see how that's a cross-up? Or if I use Sub-Zero for a combo, he has cross-ups in his combos like that. It just gets a little bit more damage, that's all it is. So that's a cross-up. A cross-up is an attack that is done from behind, which can alter the opponent's direction. Not very strong in Mortal Kombat, but very strong in other games. Chip damage is the amount of damage that is done when an attack is blocked, because you're still eating damage. So if we look here, look at Scorpion's health, top right. If I do this, look at all the health that's been eaten from him, okay? But if he blocks it, he still takes damage, a little bit, much less, but that's chip damage. Meaning that, in theory, if I just hit him non-stop on block, the only thing he does is block, nothing else, and I just hit him. One day, eventually I will kill him, just from chip damage. Now, chip damage is really crucial when you almost have no damage left. You have like 1% life. Now someone is just mashing on you on block, they're chipping you out. They're using chip damage to kill you. So that's what chip damage is. Damage that is done on block when an attack is blocked. Okay, a command grab is different from a grab because a grab can be teched. Teching a grab means to push someone away from you when you grab them. So for example, when you get grabbed, I mean. So I'm trying to grab Johnny Cage, he's gonna tech. That's a normal grab, okay? So this grab is techable. But let's say, so if you look at the AI input at the bottom through escape, it's still on. I grabbed him, why doesn't he tech? Because he can't, because this is a command grab. Now there's a mistake that people make sometimes. They say that certain moves are command grabs when they look like grabs. Like for example, this move here, right? You can't tech that. Throw escape on. But it's not a command grab. First of all, it doesn't tick. Ticking means that you can grab on block. It doesn't tick. It's just a special ability. It's an ender. That's all it is. It's just an animation. It's no different than doing something like that. It just looks like a grab, but it's not a real command grab. Now, tick throws are throws that grab when people block, like I mentioned. And they also work when someone blocks an attack, and then you special cancel into your grab. See, now he's blocking, and I'm still grabbing him. Dashing is a movement that allows you to move quickly forward or backwards. Footsies is the concept of staying in and out of your opponent's range. So for example, Johnny Cage is a footsie character because he's here, he can hit you from here. He backstashes often, so for example, if he does this, backstash, and you whiff, your attack whiffing means you punch in the air. Does this. That's the concept of footsies. You're staying in and out of your opponent's range, and when it's your turn, a fuzzy guard is a pattern of blocking that allows you to defend against your opponent's attacks. So, in fuzzy guarding, you anticipate the movement and you block accordingly. So, for example, if I use Garrus, the 2-4-1, look at what it is, okay? It's high, low, and overhead. So, if I do just this, I'm done. If I do just this, block stand, I'm done. So, I know that I'm going to have to block low and high here. And I am anticipating the movement, and I am fuzzy guarding. A higher level fuzzy guard, which covers mix-ups, is for example, you block low because the frames of the starter are faster, and when you react to the overhead. So here Garrus' sand trap is faster, 17 frames compared to the overhead. Let's see how long it is, 21 frames. So that's why I stay on the floor, and I get up right after. And that covers both instances, so this is a fuzzy guard. This is how you fuzzy guard 50-50s. Your health bar obviously is the gauge that measures the player's health, and when the health bar is depleted, that player loses. As you can see above, if I get that to 0%, now it's not actually going to kill him, it refills, but it would kill him and you would win. Pretty obvious. Okay, high attacks are attacks that can be crouched, like this. They can also be blocked by standing. See, these are all high attacks here. Hit confirm is the act of seeing an attack, hitting the opponent, and then reacting with another specific attack. Okay, so for example, if I do this, I notice that he blocks, so I just stop here, okay? But I know that when he doesn't block, what I want to do is special cancel. Like, okay, I reacted and I hit confirmed. That's what it means. Your hitbox is the area of an attack that will hit an opponent. So my hitbox here is my shoe. If my shoe touches him, it's gonna hurt. Like my head could touch him here. Let's say he jumps on me. So if my head touches him while I do the attack, nothing happens because it's not the head that matters. It's the foot. So, but if I'm here, the foot still touches. See the foot, the leg touched in this case. So he got hit. So hitbox is the area where you're going to hit your opponent. So hurtbox is the area where if you get hit, it's going to hurt you. So, for example, if Garrus gets hit in the face, his body is his hitbox, right? Or let's say he does this. He lowered his hitbox. I'm not hitting him because I'm not touching his hitbox. Now his hitbox is high and I can touch him now. So hitbox is the area of the character that can be hit by an attack. Jailing is a situation where you're at enough frame advantage to connect another attack that can't be avoided and has to be blocked. So for example, if I do this, since my hit advantage is high, and this video is not about frame data, but my theory here, based on the math, is that I'm going to be able to do this, and before he crouches again, because if he crouches, he avoids my highs, I'm going to be able to hit him, okay? Here you go. So he's jailed. What can he do? This is what he can do. I jail him, he can block. That's the only way he can avoid it. The only way that you can avoid jails is to block. This often is called a frame trap as well. I think jailing and frame trapping can be used interchangeably. I think that's fine, but the definition of frame trap according to Kombat Academy is a situation where you're at enough frame advantage to connect another attack that can't be interrupted. So in this instance, what this would look like is at enough frame advantage here that I can't interrupt that. If I try, look what happens. I keep getting hit, so I'm frame trapped and I have to keep blocking. And that's because if you get familiar with frames, the difference between the startup of each move and the cancel advantage, you don't have to know this yet, but essentially the maths dictate that this guy is way faster right now than anything that I can do. And that's why I'm frame trapped. I can't move, I can't do anything, I can only block. In the FGC, we use jails to explain things like using our hit advantage to continue our attacks. That's usually where we would say that. You usually would not say that you frame trap someone and then continue your attack, but technically, based on definitions, I think that would be completely fine. So usually we just use jail. A low attack is an attack that cannot be blocked by standing and has to be blocked by crouching, okay? He's blocking here, I'm doing it low, I'm hitting him. Now anything else would be blocked. The overhead is blocked, the high, the mid, but if I do a low, he's getting hit. So what he has to do is he has to duck it. By duck blocking, he can avoid my lows. Meaty is an attack that is done on the first frame of an opponent's wake up after being knocked down. So when you see he's waking up, he's getting up from the floor. As soon as he gets up, I can attack him. He's vulnerable and he can't do anything to me, even if he mashes. So as soon as he gets up, now I messed it up. I messed up my pattern. But I'm meeting him. I'm going for the meaty. Because I'm hitting him as soon as he's getting up. So what he has to do is he has to block. Or else he's going to get opened up. Meta, M-E-T-A, means... which is a word that we use to describe the best way of playing the game. The most dominant and strongest way of playing the game. So for example, the meta of the game right now is that when someone gets up, that's my opinion, okay? But I think most people would agree. When you knock someone down, you don't want to go for the meaty anymore in this game. Because it's too easy to whiff your meaty. Whiff meaning you miss. Right, I got it this time, but keep getting it now. But you see how easy it is to miss? So the meaty, the meta of this game now, is to just let them get up or jump on them, something along those lines. But it's dangerous to go for meaties. Because the best way to play this game is not to go for meaties. So again, that's what the meta is. When someone says there's a meta change, it means that the game is changing in a certain way that people are going to have to adapt and change their behavior, change the way they play the game to be the best that they possibly can at the game. So you can think of it a little bit as the game is just changing its mechanics almost. A mid attack is an attack that cannot be avoided by crouching, but can be blocked high. So for example, if I do this, it like hits, think of mid attacks hitting like your stomach or something. So if I do a mid attack, he's crouching, he gets hit, right? If I do a high, he doesn't get hit. So when he crouches, I can do lows and I can do mids. But if he blocks high, he's just standing. Well, first of all, if he's standing, of course I'm going to hit him again. But if he blocks my mid. You just cannot crouch it. That's what mids are, at least in this game. A mix-up is a situation where opponents must guess between two or more options. So unlike 50-50s, where 50-50s, again, is a guess, but between two options. Usually overhead and low. Usually. Mix-up is a situation where you can guess between either two or more. So, for example, so let's say I go with Sonya, okay? So Sonya has a 50-50 here. This is a low. This is an overhead. It's unreactable because the frames are the same, meaning that the speed at which these two come out is the same. So a mix-up. For Cetrion, she has to guess. As soon as she sees my elbow hitting her, she's like, oh, no. An overhead is coming or a low is coming, and she doesn't know. So she's mixed. There are characters like Spawn, for example, who have more than 2 mix-ups. Spawn has a couple options, like many options, to mix you when you add some of his custom moves. But this move is an example of a mix-up with 2 options. The neutral game is a situation where neither player has an advantage over the other. Playing in the neutral means you play here. Not here, right? And not full screen. Right here. So you're here, you're in the neutral. Now, if you know the matchup here, Cetrion is at an advantage here. Sonya wants to be right in front, Cetrion wants to be right here. And when people say we play neutral, so they move around, they try to open each other up, but they're not like right in each other's faces. So that's the neutral game. A neutral jump is simply jumping up like that. That is the neutral jump. A jump that's done directly upwards. Okizame or Oki, I don't know if I'm pronouncing this right, Okizame, I've only read it, never heard the word, is the concept of attacking an opponent while they're knocked down. So this actually is used in 2 different ways, I've heard. He goes for the Oki. This is the same thing as going for the meaty. If you remember, going for the meaty is hitting someone as soon as they get up. That's going for the meaty. People say go for the Oki. He goes for the Oki. The same way that they mean the meaty. I use the word meaty because it makes more sense to me, because Oki can be used this way, and also it can be used in a way to say this character has a lot of hit advantage. Hit advantage means it's your turn in terms of frames. So see how quick she gets up? So she gets up quickly. But if I use Cetrion, look at how slow she is to get up after the attack. The hit advantage is 33, so based on the frames, it's faster. So some people, the way they use Oki, they say, this gives Cetrion Oki, this attack here. Meaning she has a lot of time to do something after she knocks someone down. See, she has time for 2 dashes compared to this. Well, she has time for 2 dashes, but what if we do this? She has time for 1 dash for down 1. Down 1, I mean down 2. 1 dash compared to this. 2 dash, she has Oki off of that string. That's one of the ways that Oki is used, so it's used in 2 ways. But the textbook definition, according to Kombat Academy, is the same way as meaty, hitting them as soon as they get up. Option select, often called OS, is a technique that covers multiple options and puts the player in an advantageous situation regardless of the outcome. So if I say there's an OS in jump kick, what does that mean? Let me tell you. In this game, there is an OS with jump kicks, because you can jump kick normally, or you can jump kick and special cancel. And when you jump kick, special cancel on block, look at my inputs, it doesn't come out. What does this mean? If it came out on block, it would be a disaster because this is punishable. But now, since it doesn't come out on block, I can always do it knowing that if she blocks, doesn't matter. It's not going to come out. If she doesn't block, she's going to be in trouble and I'm going to launch her. So that's an OS for jump kicks because it covers multiple options, 2 options in this case, block and non-block. And it puts me in an advantageous situation regardless, because if she blocks, I'm good. If she doesn't block, I'm really good. So I'm fine regardless of the outcomes. So that's an OS right there. Okay, an overhead is an attack that can't be blocked by crouching. Has to be blocked standing. So for example, if Shao Kahn does this, she blocked the first one. So Cetrion blocks the high. She can't block the follow-up crouching because it's an overhead, right? So that's what the overhead is. Overheads must be blocked standing, like so. Here we go. Projectile is a type of attack that is thrown at the opponent like this. That's a projectile. Cetrion can throw rocks too. That's a projectile. Punishing is to attack an opponent who is vulnerable and is unable to block in time. So if someone does what he's doing now, the shoulder charge on block is unsafe, meaning that he won't have enough time to block before I hit him. So that means I'm going to punish him. So for example, if he does that, I'm like, okay, you see on the right, it says punish because he tried to block. Look at the, if I do nothing, hold on, let me get him to block. I'll just do it once. Then he blocks, okay, like this. He blocks as soon as he can. Takes him a while though, right? Takes him so long that I get a punish. I'm able to hit him before he is able to block. A read means to know exactly what the opponent is about to do. So it's to predict an opponent's action. Now if this guy's been doing this the whole time, he always finishes with a grab. I know that the grab is a high, so he has a mix-up here. He can either grab me or he can shoulder charge me, as you saw. If I let go of block here and he shoulder charges me, I'm going to go flying. So if I do the hard read, I know he's going to grab. I let go of block and I punish him for it. And that's not a guess. You can guess or you can read. If you read, You recognize the patterns, and you attack accordingly. That's a read. A restand is a situation where the opponent is left standing at the end of the combo. For example, Cetron, this is one of Cetron's B&B, bread and butter. Huh? Now, he's restood. Why is this strong in this game? Because he has no option defensively to roll, to do up 2, up 3, to delay wake up. He can't. To mash on wake up, he can't do anything. He's stuck here. He's been restood, essentially. That is a restand. It's strong if you have a lot of hit advantage. And we're not going to get into frames here, but that's a restand. In this game, unbreakable damage, breaking in this game means that you get out of your juggle combo. You get out in time to avoid further damage, right? So let's say am I even able to do something? No, I can't do anything. Okay. So he breaks away. With this combo that I show you, the restand is also an unbreakable combo. There's nothing he can do here to leave. He's stuck. He's frame trapped, essentially. So that's a unbreakable combo, unbreakable damage. You can't break away. Alright. A parry is a move that allows you to counter-attack your opponent. Usually parries are active a bit longer than normal attacks, but have longer recovery as well. So for example, this is a normal attack, this is a parry. Much longer with longer recovery. So this means essentially when someone hits you, you're countering their hit. So if I get Joker to do forward to... Okay, it's fine. There you go. I can either block it, or I can simply parry it. The problem is that if I miss my parry, I'm stuck in recovery, I can get punished. Rushdown is a type of playstyle that centers around offense. So for example, Liu Kang is a rushdown character. He wants to be here, compared to neutral type of characters which want to be right here, and zoners who wants to be full screen. Zoners are people who, like zoning means throwing a fireball, right? Throwing projectiles. That's what zoning is. It's a playstyle which you want to be full screen. Zoning with running away, with a runaway style means that you run away, you throw a fireball, you throw something, a projectile, you keep running away, you always want to stay full screen. So rush down, you're right in front of their face, and try to open them up with combos. Setup is a term that we can use interchangeably with traps. It's a situation where you're preparing to put the opponent in a disadvantageous situation. So for example, Joker has the best setup / trap in the game. So if I do this, see? He gets up, he gets hit. So what does Liu Kang have to do? He has to block again. He's forced to block. So that's what setups are. They force you to block and guess between either a combo, because this is coming, or a grab. So that's a setup / trap. A string is a combination of moves. So for example, you can either do a normal attack 1 or X or square on PS4, or you can do a string, right? So that's a starter. That's a full string. So it's a combo essentially. Well, it's not really a combo. A combo is like a combination of strings. So for example, if I mix up these two strings together, I'm gonna combo. Not a good combo, but it's still a combo. Taking a throw means I grab, someone pushes me away, presses the right button at the right time, and techs my throw. That's what teching is, taking a throw. Prevents my throw from being executed. Trading means that the moves touch at the same time, so you're trading projectiles, for example. That's what trading means. Turtling is a defensive playstyle that centers around offense. A lot of time you'll see good players at tournaments, the timer goes down, there's like 3 seconds left and they turtle. They just block and they don't do anything else. They just wait for the timer to go down. That's a turtling style. A wake up attack is an attack that is done after being knocked down. For example, I knocked down Liu Kang, he does a wake up attack. He has many options on wake up. Even if you get knocked down, you wake up and you just poke, that's still wake up attack. Anything where you get up and you start hitting, that's a wake up attack. Whiffing an attack means to just miss it, right? If I do this, I'm just whiffing left and right here. I'm whiffing, like Ninja Killer would say. So I'm just whiffing. That's what it means. It means missing an attack completely. Zoning someone means that you use projectiles to control space, to prevent them from moving freely towards you. That's what zoning is. An unblockable attack is an attack that obviously cannot be blocked. We don't have a lot in MK11, we have this one though. So for example, you see how he's blocking everything that let's put it on a stencil. He's blocking everything, but if I do this, it's unblockable. It doesn't matter if he's standing or ducking or anything. It's unblockable, but it's slow, so that's the counter. You can jump over it and stuff interrupted. And lastly, trip guard, that's the ability to block when landing from a jump. Doesn't really apply in Mortal Kombat 11, but And Street Fighter V, for example, trip guard is the ability to block a low attack when landing from a jump, because if I recall in Street Fighter V, if you jump kick, you can't block low or something along those lines. I don't know, I don't play that game. So in that game, if you empty jump, you don't kick, you're able to block low, so that's a trip guard. Combat Academy defines trip guard as simply the ability to block when landing from a jump. Not really applicable to us. Doesn't really make sense. Doesn't matter. Alright, that's it guys. Like, comment, subscribe. Have a good one.